Michael Jackson's Moonwalker was a game developed by Sega based off the movie of the same name and the arcade of the same name for play on several video game platforms, most notably the Sega Genesis in 1989. And during this time the game came out, Michael Jackson was perhaps the biggest star in the entire universe, and Sega definitely played it up big by developing this game and advertising it in style. Never before was a game with a celebrity as hyped, but the thing is, did it deliver?
What's up, everybody? This is 8-Bit Eric, and it's time to get your shamon on because I have a special video game review. God, I can't breathe worth a shit under this thing. Anyways, I have a special video game review for each and every single one of my 8 bitches out there, and if you can't tell by the way that I'm dressed, I'll go ahead and tell you what it is. We are gonna get our shamon on while we play Michael Jackson Moonwalker for the Sega Genesis. Now, this game is one of the earliest games ever to feature a celebrity, but a little bit of a backstory on this. There was actually an arcade game that I was too young to even remember playing. As a matter of fact, I've only seen it one time in my whole lifetime, and that was at the Tilt when I lived in Fort Worth. But enough about that bullshit. We're here to talk about what is, in my opinion, one of the best Sega Genesis games of all time. So let's go ahead. Enough of this fucking bullshit. We're gonna check this fucking game out.
In this game, you obviously control the King of Pop himself through 5 different levels ranging from the club, 30, the streets, the forest, a cavern, to the bad guy's hideout in the quest to rescue the kidnapped Katie's from the treacherous Mr. Big. Cheesy villain name, yes, but good times indeed. Now, this game is a typical side-scroller platformer as far as basic movement and jumping goes. The control in this game is pretty solid and is one of the better platforms I've played on the Sega Genesis. The developers really put their time into this game, and you can definitely tell. Now, the D-pad controls Michael, of course, and the C button jumps. The game has a good sense of mechanics as there are no jumping problems or landing problems at all. However, what is unique is the special abilities that Michael Jackson has in this game. Michael has magic powers that allow him to shoot magic dust, which I like to call fairy dust, when he kicks, punches, points, spins, and jabs, which are all mostly done in the form of his most famous dance moves, so no tough guy Michael here, folks.
They have the crotch grab in this game. No homo, but that's actually pretty fucking cool and hilarious. I don't care what any of you say. You know, each and every single one of you Michael Jackson fans out there used to grab your crotch. I still grab my crotch to this day.
Perhaps the coolest thing of all in this game happens if you hold the A button down long enough to where he spins and forces everyone on the screen to dance. And this includes spiders and dogs even. But be careful, because this depletes your magic energy bar at the bottom of the screen, and each time it nearly takes over half of your fucking power. And some enemies can't even be harmed by it at all.
What the fuck
perhaps the coolest thing in the entire game is the fact that you become a robot and just blast the living shit out of everything on screen. Unfortunately, you cannot rescue children this way. However, this is still a nice little bonus that a lot of people don't really know about until the end of the game, which I'll talk about later.
Holy shit. Michael Jackson can become a fucking robot. That is the fucking most badass thing in the game. Fuck what I said about the dance sequence. Michael Jackson as a fucking robot is the fucking shit. That alone makes the game fucking... They should have just made fucking Michael Jackson the robot the whole entire fucking game. Because that is fucking legit shit right there, man.
The music in this game is an excellent 16-bit rendition soundtrack of some of Michael's best songs ever. Smooth Criminal, Beat It, Another Part of Me, Billie Jean, and Bad. And they all sound perfect for the Sega Genesis and are some of the best video game songs I've ever heard in my whole entire freaking life.
The basic premise of the game is you gotta rescue all the kids who for some reason are just one person, which is Katie, the blonde girl. So you go through each level rescuing thousands of Katies, and then you make your way all the way to the boss's hideout. There's not much to it. It's a simple game. It's totally different than the arcade game, that's for sure. However, this game does have its set challenges. There is an easy mode. However, the normal mode is very, very, very challenging and hard. Forget about it. There's two-player alternate. So one person controls the white-dressed Michael, the other one controls the dark-dressed Michael. It's not co-op play, so you have to wait until each other dies. However, it's nice that it's a second-player game.
The enemies in this game range from smooth criminals, to street thugs, to dogs, foot soldiers, zombies, I don't know what the fuck's up with that shit, birds, spiders, and even whores. There's plenty of variety of guys and gals to show how bad you are, motherfucker.
Now, this game takes a little bit of the story from the Moonwalker film. Not all of it, since we all know that Moonwalker was a crazy-ass film, and the best parts of the movie actually aren't in this game. I really wish the Speed Demon music video would have been in the game, but it's not. This mainly revolves around the story where Michael Jackson is rescuing Katie from Mr. Big, who is played by Joe Pesci in the movie.
Throughout the stages, you have to search all over, every nook and cranny, doors, cars, windows, boxes, etc., and it can get quite repetitive. However, this game still provides a good amount of gameplay and levels to keep you... Now, at the end of each level, Bubbles himself makes an appearance to help you find the level boss. And this can get a little complicated because it's difficult to often see which way he's pointing. Now, the first level of the game takes you into the Club 30 that is set to the tune of Smooth Criminal, and it's actually a perfect example of how Sega tried to replicate the Smooth Criminal music video. It even starts with the legendary throwing coin in the jukebox. Now, this first stage is very short and easy to get accustomed to the controls and basic gameplay, so there's not much to it. The second level takes you to the streets to the tune of Beat It, and it makes things a little bit more difficult by adding bombs that hurt not only when they explode, but when you touch them. And they're hidden everywhere, so it gets a little bit tricky to find kids in some of these parts, especially the ones in the sewers, because you have to know to moonwalk to open the manholes. Now, these levels still are a little bit easy, they're not that bad, and they actually are pretty addictive. However, the third stage takes place in a forest cemetery setting. However, what's real puzzling is the fact that Thriller wasn't the song of choice here in the game. I guess for whatever reason, it may have been licensing issues. However, it has been proven that there are select copies of the game that do indeed have Thriller. However, sadly my copy isn't one of them. Now, this level is when the game really starts getting hard. because the zombies are probably the most difficult enemy to kill in the game, and there's just so many of them and they jump really hard. Now if you're bad enough to beat the zombie apocalypse, the next level takes you to a cavern, and these levels are really annoying, and this is perhaps my least favorite level in the whole entire game. Other levels are really repetitive, but this level is fucking ridiculous. Everything is either just plain boring, or it just looks like the same shit over and over. Next up is the bad guy's hideout, and it doesn't fuck around. There's lasers, traps, conveyor belts, and some of the toughest henchmen foot soldiers around with no other objective but to fuck up your world. The levels are very neat though, with Star Trek style teleports and other knickknacks. However, as I mentioned, it's very challenging as well. When you finally kill all of the freaking kidnapping bastards in the hideout, Mr. B tries to escape, and Michael turns into the robot one more time to take him on in space. Now this is perhaps the hardest boss battle in the entire game because it gets very disoriented with everything on screen, and it's also a change of scenery because it's not like anything else in the game. However, it is a welcome change.
This game is actually one of the better developed games on the Sega Genesis, in my opinion. The graphics are great, the music is great, the control is great, and it's just one of those games that you can pick up and play no matter what. Now, some things about the game do indeed suck, such as a lot of the enemies, such as the dogs and the spiders, are way too low to hit with the pixel dust. And then also how the energy drains when you dance. Sometimes that is a real son of a bitch. However, I still love Michael Jackson, and no homo, so don't even start, kids. So in all, do I recommend Michael Jackson's Moonwalker? You bet your fucking sweet ass. You will have fun playing this fucking game. I guarantee it. If you haven't checked it out yet, check it out. Buy it, rent it, fucking emulate it. Everything, add this to your collection. Now, it is a little bit pricey online, and a lot of retailers and resellers do sell this for high prices. I luckily was able to get one complete in box with an instruction manual when it first came out in 1989. So I've had this for years. This is already over a 20-year game, which is hard to believe that it's 20 years. I feel so fucking old. But I highly recommend, if you can get one of these, get it. If you get a Master System one, that's even more of a cool bonus, because I've only seen one Master System copy of this in my lifetime. But luckily I have the 16-bit Genesis version of it. This game has all sorts of obstacles and challenges that will have you mama-say, mama-san, mamaku-san, left and right to just rescue Katie. So it's fucking awesome, it's fun, it's well worth the price of admission. Check it out. Well, that's all I have for you today, 8-Bit Eric followers and friends and foes. Thanks for watching, and a word of advice, Billie Jean is not my lover. So, Michael spared no... You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and keep the glasses on.